But the charges against you have more to do with other things as well. Like, for example, supposedly, lewd content and well, scantily clad women.
I mean,
mga ganun.
yeah, there's plenty of lewd content. Pero ibang congressman nga nahuling may kabit pero hindi sila na ethics complaint eh.
Congressman KA.BlT says he will accept any sanctions that the House will impose. And he joins us tonight. Sir, welcome to the big story. Cavite 4th District Congressman KA.BlT. Sir, mukhang pinatayan kayo ng microphone daw kanina.
Medyo natakot sila kasi si Marcos na yung binanggit ko doon, especially since he's the one who's most guilty of this flood control issue, which is where all the ethics complaint started.
Which Marcos are you referring to?
President Marcos.
Okay.
Why do you say that it started, your ethics issue started with the president's, the supposed flood control scandal?
Yes, it was in response to the criticism that I made against Speaker Martin Romualdez on the flood control scandal. And the flood control scandal is primarily made by President Marcos.
Well, and of course, sir, we understand what you're saying. We also have several groups saying the same thing.
Yes.
But my question then to you is, but the charges against you have more to do with other things as well. Like, for example, supposedly, lewd content and well, scantily clad women.
I mean,
mga ganun.
yeah, there's plenty of lewd content. Pero ibang congressman nga nahuling may kabit pero hindi sila na ethics complaint eh. It's about the timing of the complaint and why they would choose to do that. Since if they were to create precedents where such things were to be regulated and when the ethics committee is capable of suspending, reprimanding, or even expelling politicians once they have a supermajority in Congress, then these types of things can be weaponized by future administrations, and that's the worst part about the ethics complaint. Because personally speaking, the suspension does not truly negatively affect me. It mostly negatively affects the institution as a whole because people are losing trust in Congress, and this will decrease the trust in Congress even more.
You mean people might think they're being so defensive?
Well, they are being so defensive because I'm the one who is planning to file an impeachment case on Marcos, and coincidentally, I'm also the one who happens to be
Oh,
suspended.
we just had you last week. You didn't
yes.
say that yet. When did this idea?
No, I revealed it already. I posted it twice on social media.
Okay.
Once in October and once in November. So we're still gathering evidence, not just regarding Marcos's involvement in the flood control, but also his, also Senator Amy Marcos's revelation that he is a drug addict, which is detrimental to our country as a whole if we have a drug addict as president.
So this impeachment complaint you plan to file, when do you plan to file it? And can you file? You can file it naman kahit na suspended ka,
Well, I'm not too sure about that because I didn't read the rules regarding suspended politicians.
Okay. But when are you planning to file it? Who is drafting it for you? You have lawyers?
Yes, we have legal teams, and we'll see when the time comes.
Kasi February 7 yung the one-year ban on the impeachment of Sa Duterte will expire. Are you hoping to do that, your filing, before February 7, or are you open to having it after February? Kasi things would change, of course, after February 7.
Things would definitely change, and more evidence would release, more people will release statements against Marcos by that time. So yes, once more evidence has been released against Marcos, and once public opinion against Marcos has gradually worsened, then that's when we can start filing.
So are you confident you're going to gather enough signatures for that?
Well, even if I don't gather enough signatures, that will already prove that Congress itself, a majority of Congress, is no longer serving the people, but rather serving the interests of the Marcos administration. And we've already seen that happen in this instance. This is showing the people what exactly is happening within Congress.
But tell us about the charges that you plan to file. Exactly what will be your basis for impeachment?
For impeachment? Well, the revelation of the drug cases and the involvement of flood control anomalies, and an extra charge that's not revealed yet.
But the Constitution is very particular about what kinds of charges can be filed for impeachment.
Yes.
For example, betrayal of public trust and so on down the line. So exactly how do you plan to go about this, and what kind of charges do you plan to file?
Well, it will be betrayal of public trust because that's very open to interpretation. That could be for anything.
For corruption and so on down the line.
Or even lying about the state of his drug rehabilitation or his involvement in drugs. That can also be constituted as a betrayal of public trust. So depending on what possible grounds you may find, we will still consult with our legal teams. But his involvement in the flood control anomalies, in him being the mastermind in all of this, and also in his drug-related revelations made by Senator Amy Marcos would be the most stable grounds that we would have.
That's your most solid, you think?
Well, there might be more. We might
So,
find
but for now,
his-
3 grounds.
We might find his footprints in the DPWH building fire. So that's also another possibility. Or the recent
you also
Senate fire
posted
that
about
happened.
that fire before, yung October fire sa Quezon City,
Yes.
where you said that the fire destroyed evidence linking lawmakers to the flood control scandal.
Yes.
What's your basis for saying that? I mean, that's among the things that's being taken against you. Not, I don't think it's.
Yes, it's not within the ethics committee,
Yeah.
but it's too much to be considered a coincidence that the city, the district office, which happens to have one of the most flood control problems, just happens to have a fire on the time when those problems were being investigated, and also the reason that they released for the fire, which is computer malfunctioning, that generally is not an actual cause of fire.
Are you
But sir, your
actually
statement is-
investigating?
Your statement is not about suspicion. Your statement is an assertion that evidence was destroyed linking lawmakers to the anomaly. So it's not na baka merong nasunog na ebidensya. It's more of may nasunog na ebidensya. Therefore,
Well, why question when you can make direct statements?
well, you make direct statements when you can prove it. But sir, do you have evidence to show that?
If I were to have evidence, would I reveal it now?
Well, you can tell us if you have.
It's a secret.
No, you
Yes
can tell
or
us
no
you have.
lang?
You can tell us you have without revealing the evidence.
Well, my
itself.
answer to that would be a secret. We'll find out in the coming months.
So you're having someone look into it. Can we safely assume?
I had someone look into it, is what I'd prefer to say.
Okay. We'll take that for now.
Yeah, for now.
Kong
Because
Kiko.
this is still a developing story, as we've seen.
correct.
Recently, there's the Zalico videos, and there's the recent statements made by Senator Amy Marcos, and then there's the recent removal of Executive Secretary
Bersamin.
Bersamin, and they might release statements as well. So regarding this, it's a developing story, and I want to also watch how the story develops
Can I
before
ask
we reveal all of our cards.
Can I ask if you're assuming these things, or do you know something we don't na talagang magkakaroon ng mas maraming revelations in the
Or
coming
a
days?
smoking gun, Kong.
Well, I mean, there will be, but it also depends on where we want to take these revelations and how these revelations would actually bring Marcos to justice. Because right now, no matter what form of evidence you present against Marcos, even if you find actual evidence, there would be no possibility of imprisoning him as long as he holds a supermajority within Congress, as long as the people are still fine with him being president. But once the anger of the public can no longer be stopped, when it can no longer be de-escalated, when, like what happened during his father's time, when massive civil disobedience is starting to emerge, that's the time when we can actually start the Marcos impeachment. That's the time when we can actually start bringing Marcos into justice.
But if you're saying that actually you got suspended, not for all these reasons that were stated in the complaint, but because nilalabanan mo si Marcos, does that not imply that he still holds a supermajority in the House? Or do you feel that the ground is shifting? Or do you know whether or not the ground is shifting?
Well, he still holds a supermajority within the House. That's still true. But the ground shifts very rapidly, especially in times like these. And there are people within the House that voted for suspension but not expulsion. There are people who prefer expulsion. There are many different voices within the House that are voting. And a vote of yes does not necessarily mean that they are in support of Marcos.
So you mean they actually put to a vote whether or not to expel you?
No, not yet. But there are people who are calling for the expulsion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Kong Kiko, you did say before plenary that you are willing to accept any sanction imposed by the House of Representatives. That includes a 60-day suspension. Tell us what you plan to do during those 60 days. And we heard walang pay, walang salary during those.
Well, yes. So, since I have no salary, I won't be able to pay rent. So, I'll be in a cardboard box outside of my house. Outside of my house. Yeah, I'll be in a cardboard box, and then I'll eat and sleep there. And since I don't have a salary, I no longer have money. So, I have to eat cup noodles every day now.
I know you're being facetious, Kong Kiko.
That's why I'm very happy that you provided free water for me.
No, sir, that's not free. Sir, let me ask you this. Teka, it's based on what you were saying a while ago. It seems that a lot of the assertions that you're making are not based on what you already have. Kasi sabi mo nga kanina, kasi baka may lumabas pa mga ibang ebidensya, like for example, Bersamin might still talk and all that.
No,
it's
there will be more evidence that will be released.
by you or by somebody else? I asked that kasi nga, it appears that you've made some assertions that are not yet based on something you already have, but something you're still hoping to come out. As you said a while ago, based on what may still come out from people who were taken out by the president, for example, Bersamin, and
Yes.
so on down the line. So, parang hindi mo pa hawak. Parang you're hoping pa lang na may lalabas.
No, but that's exactly like you have a cow. You know that it will produce milk at some point. It's only the logical conclusion of nature as to what will happen. When Marcos already throws away the people that he trusted to help him steal the money, then they will eventually start going against him, as what we've seen with Zaldico.
That's
And
very,
it's-
that's
it-
being
it's
very
also-
optimistic. That's
It's also
being-
more than that.
I mean, a cow is somebody that will give you milk if she's, I suppose, pregnant.
No, not
Not
necessarily,
necessarily, I
but
don't
you know, the amount of milk also depends on, you know, how comfortable the cow is, how well you feed it, etc., etc. Do you play classical
Yes.
music?
But there are certain
Yeah, it's true.
there's certain laws, not just of nature of animals, but well, humans are technically animals. So also within the nature of humans, that once it is within their self-interest to bring down the Marcos administration and to show Marcos that he must, that to show Marcos that he must face accountability for his crimes, then it will also they will start serving in their best interest in doing so. Just like what we did with Zaldico. Zaldico has been complicit in what Marcos has done, but at the same time, Marcos has also thrown him aside
Kung
or
Kiko,
betrayed him.
going back to your suspension, the ethics committee warned harsher penalties such as expulsion if you continue your disorderly behavior. Will you be changing your ways on how you conduct yourself on social media?
Well, no. The thing here is that if you allow this to change your ways, then that's basically the same as allowing them to continue stealing and continue with the corruption that they're doing. If you were in the position of, say, Bonifacio or Rizal or even Ninoy Aquino, when you are granted the ability to stop criticizing the administration in exchange for a comfortable life, would you take those?
So you're ready to face expulsion?
More than that, I'm ready to face even imprisonment or assassination. If Marcos wants to silence me, then the surest way to do it is to do the same thing that his father did to Ninoy Aquino, which is, you have to kill me if you want me to be quiet. And that's a very direct statement to President Marcos. I want him to know that the only way that he may silence me is if he were to kill me.
Okay, well, we'll
same-
have to...
The same way his father killed Ninoy Aquino.
Anyway, we will have to leave it there because we're out of time. It's already 8:29. Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon
Thank you.
or this evening for the big story. Cavite Congressman KA.BlT.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.